Thinking of exploring Europe but not sure where to begin, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we'll journey through some of Europe's most iconic landmarks. From legendary monuments to castles, cathedrals, and architectural masterpieces shaped over centuries, we'll begin in the West and gradually travel east across this remarkably diverse continent where history, culture, and human achievement are etched into the landscape. Along the way, you may recognize places you've already visited or discover landmarks you feel belong on the list. We'd love to hear your personal favorites because Europe's landmarks are timeless, unforgettable, and always worth exploring. Starting off in central Spain, where the Alcazar of Segovia rises dramatically at the meeting point of two rivers. Its sharp turrets and stone walls resemble the bow of a ship cutting through the landscape. Originally built on Roman foundations, it evolved into a royal palace, military academy, and symbol of Castilian power. Walk slowly through its courtyards and towers, and imagine medieval kings planning campaigns here. From the battlements, the wide Castilian plains stretch endlessly, reinforcing why this fortress was both strategic and symbolic. Traveling south to Granada and enter the Alhambra, a vast palace city shaped by water, poetry, and geometry. Built by the Nasrid dynasty, it represents the height of Islamic art in Europe. As you move through courtyards like the Court of the Lions, listen to fountains softly echoing against carved stone. Every wall is covered in calligraphy and patterns, deliberately avoiding human figures. This is architecture meant to calm the mind, guiding visitors toward reflection, balance, and beauty. Now up to southern England, where Stonehenge stands isolated on open grassland. These massive stones were erected over several phases, beginning more than 4,000 years ago. No written records explain how or why they were placed, which adds to their power. Walk the circular path and note how the stones align with the solstices. Whether ritual site, calendar, or sacred monument, Stonehenge reflects humanity's early desire to understand time, nature, and the cosmos. If you enjoyed our first three picks, we're only getting started. The best are yet to come. Before we move on to the next, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with best places to visit around the world. Off the coast of Normandy, Mont Saint-Michel rises from tidal flats like something imagined rather than built. At high tide, it becomes an island. At low tide, the sea retreats far into the distance. Climb its steep streets, once walked by pilgrims for centuries. At the top, the abbey dominates everything below, combining spiritual devotion with military defense. This is a place where geography, faith, and architecture work together in perfect harmony. Back to England. In central London, Big Ben stands as one of the most recognizable landmarks in the world. Technically, the name refers to the great bell inside the Elizabeth Tower, whose chimes have marked historic moments for over 150 years. Look across the Thames and you'll see the Palace of Westminster beside it. This tower has witnessed wars, celebrations, and political change, becoming a steady symbol of time, tradition, and British identity. Nearby along the Thames sites the Tower of London, a fortress steeped in power and fear. Built by William the Conqueror, it served as royal residence, treasury, prison, and execution site. Walk through its gates and hear stories of imprisoned queens, vanished princes, and guarded secrets. The crown jewels sparkle behind thick glass while ravens patrol the grounds. Few places reveal the darker side of monarchy so vividly. Just downstream stands Tower Bridge, instantly recognizable with its twin towers and blue suspension elements. Completed in the late 19th century, it was engineered to lift for tall ships passing through London's port. Walk across the high-level walkways and look down through glass panels at traffic below. This bridge perfectly frames London's transition from industrial empire to modern global city. Returning to Spain, in Barcelona, where the Sagrada Família continues to rise slowly toward completion, Antoni Gaudí designed it as a spiritual forest inspired by nature rather than straight lines. Inside, columns branch like trees toward a ceiling filled with colored light. Each facade tells a different part of the Christian story. Even unfinished, The basilica feels alive, a reminder that great art sometimes spans generations. On to Paris, where we have an array of landmarks, starting with the Eiffel Tower, dominating the skyline with elegant simplicity. Built for the 1889 World's Fair, it was once criticized as an eyesore. Today, it defines the city. As you ascend, Paris unfolds in precise geometry below, boulevards, bridges, and rooftops stretching outward. From every angle, the tower demonstrates how bold engineering can become timeless beauty. At the center of Paris stands the Arc de Triomphe, surrounded by one of the world's busiest roundabouts. Commissioned by Napoleon, it honors those who fought for France. Beneath it lies the tomb of the unknown soldier with an eternal flame. Climb to the top and see 12 grand avenues radiating outward. This monument connects military memory with modern city planning. Once a medieval fortress and later a royal palace, the Louvre is now the world's most visited museum. Its vast halls contain thousands of years of human creativity. From Mesopotamian artifacts to Renaissance masterpieces, each gallery adds another chapter to civilization's story. The glass pyramid marks the modern entrance, symbolizing how the past and present coexist within these walls. Notre-Dame stands at the heart of Paris, both geographically and emotionally. Built over nearly 2 centuries, it defined Gothic architecture with its flying buttresses and stained glass. And despite the devastating fire of 2019, the cathedral endures as a symbol of resilience. Stand on the plaza and imagine coronations, revolutions, and everyday worship unfolding beneath its vaulted ceiling. Continuing east to Germany, rising above the Swabian countryside, Hohenzollern Castle sits high on a forested hilltop. Though rebuilt in the 19th century, it was designed to project medieval grandeur. Walk its stone halls and towers and notice how architecture is used to reinforce legacy. From the ramparts, the views stretch far beyond the horizon, emphasizing both isolation and dominance. Moving south to Italy, in the center of Milan, the Duomo commands attention with its intricate marble facade. More than 3,000 statues decorate its spires and rooftop. Step inside to feel the scale, then climb to the terraces above. From here, Milan spreads out beneath you. This cathedral took centuries to complete, reflecting patience, ambition, and devotion across generations. In Pisa's Cathedral Square, the leaning tower tilts dramatically against the sky. What began as a construction flaw became one of the world's most famous landmarks. Walk around it and watch the angle shift with every step. Stabilization efforts saved it from collapse, proving that even architectural mistakes can be preserved and celebrated. Back up to Germany and hidden in the Bavarian Alps, Neuschwanstein Castle appears straight from a fairy tale. Commissioned by King Ludwig II, it was built purely for fantasy, not defense. Inside, rooms are decorated with scenes from operas and legends. Outside, mountains and forests surround the castle completely. It is imagination made permanent in stone. Spanning the Grand Canal at its narrowest point, the Rialto Bridge has been the commercial heart of Venice for centuries. Long before this elegant stone arch existed, wooden bridges and floating pontoons connected the banks here. Merchants gathered, deals were struck, and goods from across the Mediterranean passed through this exact crossing. Walk slowly along the bridge and look down at the canal traffic below. Gondolas, water taxis, and delivery boats, all sharing the same watery road. In a city without cars, this bridge has always been movement, trade, and daily life combined. Now to Rome. We have 5 landmarks to share. In the center of Rome, the Pantheon feels both ancient and strangely modern. Built nearly 2,000 years ago, its concrete dome remains an engineering mystery even today. Step inside and look up at the oculus, a perfect opening to the sky that allows light, rain, and time itself to enter the building. The interior proportions are so precise that the height equals the width, creating perfect balance. Originally a pagan temple, later a Christian church, the Pantheon shows how Rome continuously adapts without erasing its past. Cross into Vatican City, the smallest state in the world, yet one of the most influential. Inside the Sistine Chapel, voices fall silent as visitors tilt their heads upward toward Michelangelo's ceiling. Every panel tells a story of creation, judgment, and humanity. Then step into St. Peter's Basilica, where scale overwhelms instantly. Columns soar, light pours through the dome, and art fills every surface. Now, this is architecture designed to inspire awe, humility, and belief all at once. Tucked into Rome's narrow streets, the Trevi fountain reveals itself suddenly, loud with water and movement. Sculpted figures emerge from stone as waves crash endlessly below. Tossing a coin over your shoulder has become a global ritual, promising a return to Rome. Whether believed or not, the act connects millions of visitors across generations. Crowded day and night, the fountain captures Rome's love of spectacle, tradition, and theatrical beauty. The Colosseum rises as Rome's most recognizable symbol of imperial power. Nearly 2,000 years ago, tens of thousands gathered here for gladiator battles, animal hunts, and public spectacles. Walk around its massive arches and imagine the noise, anticipation, and violence that once filled the air. Beneath the arena floor lay complex underground chambers and machinery. Today, its broken stone stands quietly, reminding visitors how entertainment, power, and politics once collided on a monumental scale. Stretching beside the Colosseum, the Roman Forum was the center of public life in ancient Rome. This is where laws were passed, speeches delivered, and triumphs celebrated. Walk along the ancient pathways and see temples, arches, and basilicas reduced to fragments. Though ruined, the layout still reveals order and purpose. Every step here follows the routines of citizens who once governed an empire that shaped the Western world. Now to Berlin, the Brandenburg Gate stands as a powerful symbol of change. Built as a triumphal arch, it later became trapped behind the Berlin Wall, inaccessible and isolated. Today, people freely pass beneath its columns, a quiet victory over division. Stand here and reflect on how political systems rise and fall while landmarks absorb those stories. Few monuments so clearly represent both separation and reunification. At the foot of Mount Vesuvius lies Pompeii, preserved in haunting detail by disaster. When volcanic ash buried the city in 79 AD, daily life froze instantly. Walk through streets lined with houses, shops, and taverns. Notice graffiti on walls and stepping stones across roads. Human casts formed from ash-filled voids remind visitors that this was a living city. Pompeii feels intimate, personal, and profoundly human. High above the Elbe River, the Baste Bridge connects towering sandstone formations in Saxon, Switzerland National Park. Originally built of wood, it was later replaced by stone, blending naturally into the landscape. Stand at the edge and look across layers of forested cliffs and winding river below. This is not a place of human dominance, but of respectful integration, where architecture exists only to help us appreciate nature's scale. Onto the Czech Republic. Karlstein Castle rises steeply above the Czech countryside. Its design carefully structured for defense. Each level becomes more secure as you climb higher, guiding visitors through layers of protection. Built to safeguard royal jewels and documents, the castle feels purposeful and controlled. From the upper terraces, views stretch far across forests and villages. Power here was never hidden, it was elevated. Charles Bridge stretches across the Vltava River, linking Prague's old town with its castle district. Built in the 14th century, it has carried kings, merchants, and travelers for generations. Statues line the bridge, each with its own story. Walk slowly and absorb the sounds of musicians, footsteps, and water below. At sunrise or sunset, the bridge feels suspended between past and present. Overlooking the city of Prague, Prague Castle is not a single structure, but an entire complex layered with history. Palaces, courtyards, churches, and fortifications stretch across the hilltop, wander without rushing, allowing views of red rooftops to appear between buildings. This castle has evolved for over 1,000 years, mirroring the city it protects, resilient, adaptive, and richly textured down to Malta. Mdina rises quietly at the heart of Malta, enclosed within thick stone walls. Cars are restricted and sound seems softened by narrow streets and high walls. Walk slowly and listen to your footsteps echo. Once the island's capital, Mdina reflects centuries of rule, from Romans to knights. From the bastions, views extend across the island, revealing why this calm city was once so strategically important. In Mostar, starry most arches, elegantly over the Neretva River. Originally built in the 16th century, it was destroyed during war and later rebuilt stone by stone. Today it stands as a symbol of reconciliation. Watch locals leap from the bridge into the cold water below, continuing a tradition that predates modern conflict. Courage and memory meet here. We have 5 more incredible natural wonders still to visit. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to find out about the best places to visit around the world. On to Hungary. Fisherman's Bastion sits above the Danube, offering sweeping views across Budapest. Its white towers and terraces were built for beauty, not battle. Walk along the stone walkways and look toward Parliament across the river. This viewpoint celebrates the city's elegance and balance, framing Budapest as one of Europe's most visually harmonious capitals. The Széchenyi Baths invite visitors to slow down and soak deeply into Hungarian tradition. Fed by natural thermal springs, the pools remain warm year-round. Step into the outdoor baths and watch steam rise into cool air. Locals play chess in the water while visitors relax nearby. This is not luxury, it's everyday wellness shared across generations. Towering above Athens, the Acropolis represents the ideals of ancient Greece. Climb the rocky path and stand before the Parthenon, built with mathematical precision. Despite damage and age, its proportions still feel perfect. From here, the city spreads outward in every direction. Democracy, philosophy, and Western thought trace their roots back to this hilltop. Grand Castle clings to a rocky ridge in Transylvania, surrounded by forests and mountain passes. Often linked to Dracula, its real role was defensive and strategic. Inside, narrow corridors and staircase twist unexpectedly. The castle's dramatic setting blurs the line between legend and reality, making it one of Europe's most atmospheric fortresses. Finally, then, our journey ends. In Istanbul, Hagia Sophia stands at the meeting point of continents, empires, and beliefs. Built as a cathedral, later transformed into a mosque, it carries layers of religious and political history. Step inside and feel the vast dome hovering above you. Light filters softly across ancient mosaics and calligraphy. This is not just a building, it is a record of civilizations overlapping in one extraordinary space. So, which place are you visiting first?